guy was super creepy.
Council of Elders is the third boss fight in Throne of Thunder, and as the name suggests, this is a council fight. The overarching mechanic is that all 4 of the council members do not share a health pool, and it's our goal to kill the bosses in a specific order with specific positioning in mind. The fight centers around the idea that one of the trolls at a time will be empowered, and it is our job to do 25% damage on that current troll to break them out in empowerment. Otherwise, their empowerment bar will hit to 100, and once it hits 100, it essentially enrages and bad times ensue. The empower is passed off to another troll once that critical point is hit, and that's based on which troll has the most health remaining at the time of the swap. When a troll is empowered, their abilities are also empowered, and so we're dealing with a set of 4 different bosses with baseline abilities plus empowered abilities. Looking at the trolls themselves, Frost King Malik requires a tank swap before 15 stacks, or otherwise they'll stun the tank, and he does a biting cold damage, which essentially boils down to the raid has to be spread, otherwise you're going to share biting cold radiation damage. When he's empowered, his biting cold radiation damage turns into this 5-stack debuff mechanic. However, it is just too complicated to deal with it on heroic, so the simple strategy is ignore it. You're already spread, just heal the person. The next boss is Kaz. He does a reckless charge, so essentially he just keeps charging random raiders, does damage in the path, and does knockback at the location. Just get away from his path, dodge him. Just like it's important to note that every time he charges, he gets stunned, therefore giving us some breathing room, but while he's stunned, he reflects 50% of damage taken back to raiders. Sol is the third of the trolls. He does a sand bolt, and he does a lot of sand-themed abilities. We must be spread to deal with his sand bolt, so that aligns with the Frost King strategy of spreading. His sand bolt can be interrupted and should be as much as possible, but spread otherwise. He also does a mechanic called quicksand, which is sand on an RNG player location. If it goes under you, get out of it. Don't go back into it. It does an incredible amount of damage and then increasingly stacks you with an ensnare, half movement per stack. 5 stacks is full no move for 30 seconds. When he's empowered, the sandstorms become essentially creatures. They combine and become big super creatures, and it essentially leads to a wipe. Because of this, on heroic, we cannot afford for Sol to ever be empowered, and so the main strategy will be to zerg Sol before he ever gets the chance to be empowered, so we never have to deal with empowered sandstorms. He is our number 1 priority target in a heroic strategy. The last of the 4 trolls is High Priestess Mar'li. They do an ability called Wrath of the Loa, which is a target random raider holy damage, which is interruptible, so always try to interrupt when possible. However, the complication with this priestess is the Blessed Loa Spirit and its empowered shadow version if the boss itself is empowered. Simply put, on normal, it will summon an ad, which will run towards the lowest HP troll, which is the other bosses. If it reaches them, it heals them for 10%, and if it's alive for 20 seconds, it instantly will do that heal as well. So as raiders, we must slow, root, and kill it as quickly as possible within that 20 seconds to avoid it healing the other boss. However, when it's empowered, it becomes a shadow version, which means that it fixates on a random raider instead, and if it's within 6 yards of that raider, it's an immediate kill on that person. Also, 20 seconds, instant death, so similarly, you have to slow it, root it, kite it, and kill it. There are a number of heroic-only mechanics that we'll now go through. First, Soul Fragment. A random raider, every time an empower happens, will be applied a soul fragment debuff. And you'll have a special action which allows you to target and pass that debuff to someone else. It's our goal that each person gets a soul fragment distributed manually by raiders to raiders across the raiding group so that it's an even distribution and the damage is under control. And so it's kind of like a debuff spread management mechanic. Body heat is the next mechanic, and it simply put makes the frostbite mechanic of the Frost Lord troll even more complicated. You have to rotate people through a debuff that they can't help soak it. Just keep it simple. Don't even do this mechanic. Just heal the person who's currently being hit by the Frost Lord and avoid having to manage a whole rotation of stack groups. Kaz, the charging troll, gets an upgrade. Its overload, which was the reflect on the person attacking him when he's stunned, is now called discharge, and it not only damages the attacking raider, but all raiders. So this turns it into a Spirit Kings-like experience. You cannot attack Kaz while he's reflecting. The biggest change is a mechanic called Twisted Fate off of High Priestess Mar'li. One melee and one furthest player from that player will each spawn an ad that goes to the other player, and it deals an increasing amount of raid damage based on how close that ad is to its eventual target player. Which this translates to is simply swap everyone to the ad that they're closest to and kill it as quickly as possible, otherwise it's a wipe. So boiling this all down to a simple strategy, tank 1 is going to tank Soul and the Frost Lord at first, and tank 2 is going to tank Mar'li off to the side. The charging Kaz will keep charging away and will take damage as needed, but the raid's number one priority is to zerg Soul as quickly as possible to avoid him ever being empowered, while also doing some light damage on Kaz as he runs around, and light damage on the Frost Lord so that we guarantee Mar'li will be the second empowerment. Our next goal is to zerg down Kaz, such that all that we have left is the Frost Lord and Mar'li, and then we're going to alternate down the Frost Lord and Mar'li, Frost Lord, Mar'li, 25% at a time until we're killing them for the final time. And that's the fight. Remember, we're going to be lightly spreading for all the various mechanics. We're going to dodge the charges. We're going to spread out our debuff with our special action, and we're going to swap to the ads when they spawn whenever Marley's empowered and nuke them down as quickly as possible and have a successful kill.